Chuck Roberts, and I'm the curator of Roberts Armory World War II Museum. The purpose of the museum is to preserve armor from the World War II era, mostly light armor and light armored vehicles from the U.S. Army during World War II.
I touch up all the paint on the engine, he rebuilt the carburetor, all your blackout lights work the way they're supposed to. You kind of guessed at that a little bit, I thought. Yeah. Did your exhaust system. I think all the wiring back here is all original now. All the wiring on the dash is the way it's supposed to be. These guys. Yeah, 3 months worth of work in 2 weeks. I don't know how y'all did it. Listen, he never came out of the garage.
Absolutely fish.
I'm very happy it came out nice.
Oh, man, I get back.
You saw me for 2 years.
Absolutely.
Oh, this guy's nice.
Process of restoring this Jeep engine. Right now we've gone through it, cleaned it up, putting in new valves as we see here, fix it up and do the valve grinding and restoration of the engine, and we'll have it running probably in a few days. Got to put all the parts together. Here's a Jeep manual. This is a very early war manual, and we can see half of it is in Russian because these were Lend-Lease vehicles, and we can see here the Russian maintenance manual for Willie's truck, and we can see the Russian writing up above. April 15th, 1942. This is a very rare manual. You won't see too many of these.
Okay, this is my 1941 Chevrolet, and it is original. It has about 69,600 miles on it. You can see the room in the back seat. You don't get that much room in your back seats on today's cars, unless you got a limousine or something. So, and you got the old strap here. That was the only security you had to get in the car. No seat belts, of course, but it's all original stuff. All right, in the front, this is a vacuum shift, and it's vacuum windshield wipers. And if it's rainy and you go up the hill and you press on the accelerator, they stop until you let up on the accelerator, and then they go again.
This is a 1943 LOCUST light tank designed for airborne operations. This one is serial number 110, and you can always see the serial number is right in this area right here. You can see the 110 on the side. So that's 110 out of about 800 made. This is a very rare tank. There's only about 30 to 40 of them left in the world. If you go to survivinglocusts.com on the internet, you can take a look at the surviving ones around the world. This one came with just the bottom part of the hull. You had to make the turret and the cannon and the front armor, which was all cut off. This has been restored to an early version type turret and also an early version type driver's hatch. And we can see the turret was made out of steel. We put a little sand in the paint to make it look like a casting. The cannon was turned on a lathe with I think it's 160 schedule pipe. The nut here is made out of nylon, and it's made on our own equipment here. And then we have the 30 caliber coaxial gun on the side, and that is a typical Iraq type machine gun. Fenders were made by us, and all the other things that were added on were found. The cable and siren and other things like that were added on. The lighting, luckily, is very standard in the U.S. Army. In World War II, you can get these pretty easily, but the rest of it is very difficult. Over here we see the tracks. The track system, very rare, so it's dry pin suspension, which means you run it sloppy, so it doesn't wear the pins out. That's why you'll see them sagging quite a bit. So we let them sag as much as we can and then tighten them up a little bit. The road wheels here, often called bogies. When we first got it, all the rubber had deteriorated and fallen off. And then we made rear fenders here. And this is the track adjuster here that you adjust the tracks up with. And this is the engine compartment. And the engine that originally went in here we have taken out, and it's used as a display, but we use a Stewart engine in here right now because the parts are readily available. And this is the original engine that was in the LOCUST light tank. This is a Lycoming 0435T engine that was an aircraft engine, 6-cylinder opposed, and it has a automotive type distributor with dual ignition on it, which is very difficult to find. Okay, we can start with the seating arrangement down here. We can see this is the gunner's seat, and this is the commander-loader seat. But most of the time in reenactments, I'm the gunner and the commander and loader, so I do it all right here. This is the cannon, and we have the machine gun right next to it. Pull the trigger, fire simulated fire, which is propane oxygen. The cannon is shown here. And we can see right up in this area, load and fire buttons. So load puts in the oxygen, and fire ignites the spark plug, which is shown right here. The breech is, of course, off of this, and this is a reconstructed breech to hide the electronics and things like that. This is your oil injection system to make the smoke, because propane and oxygen burn so cleanly you don't see smoke. So we inject a little slug of diesel fuel into the barrel, and it gives you that smoke cloud that you often see. Here is your turret drive. Here's your commo system. This is the mic, the standard P17 microphone, and it's been set up with modern speakers in it so I can communicate with the driver, tell him to go right, left, and so forth like that. Here's his steering levers. They are left, let's see, they'd be left and right, and then pull both back to brake. And we see the gas pedal down below, and over here above the transmission we can see the instrument panels. They were on the side, you didn't look at them directly, they were mostly on the side area. Shown right here is the transmission, and we can see the shift pattern for the transmission gears. This is the turret basket here. This is the turret slip rings that transmits the power up to the turret drive assembly and other things like that. This is the standard one. You'll see this in other armored vehicles of this type. Here's our speaker box right here. There behind is the cooling system. That's the cooling fans and radiator. That's non-standard in this vehicle because it was originally air-cooled, but since we put a water-cooled engine in it, we had to do that. And here's the turret basket where the people stand on, and this all rotates. And we can see the battery boxes over to the right, down there. And then, of course, where the driver sits, he sits right on the floor, and right under us, you'll see I'm pointing right to his seat, so he sits right on the floor. There's an escape hatch over here that is really kind of useless. It's hard to get at, but I guess they may put escape hatch in the bottom to make you feel better. But that's where the escape hatch is. And here's your drive shaft. You have to make sure you keep your hands away from that because that rotates when we're driving. There's a guard here to keep you from getting snagged in the U-joint. But otherwise, this is pretty much how it looked in World War II. Here's the periscopes. Right here, if you want to look. Periscope slots. Here, and this is a ventilator for the inside of the vehicle. These are the trunnions that allow the gun to be raised and lowered. And we can see right here is a typical periscope assembly. And that's standard among Shermans, Stewarts, and the LOCUST.
How long did it take you to rebuild this?
This one took approximately a year to restore. And it required putting in the engine, getting the turret and everything set up.